Order at 5:04. Okay.
Some of the songs are a little,
The only thing I saw in the minutes, again,
Jill
was Jill Scott. I think.
Jill Scott?
Yeah, it says Jill Scott.
Got you.
That's
You
what
don't know.
I believe it's Jill Smith.
I was here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess
All right.
Okay, so the first one is GBEB, which is the conduct of employees. And I started looking over this one. I did notice that on line 7, we talk about companies contracted. Do we contract individuals or just companies?
Both.
Okay, so I think we should probably add companies and individuals that provide services directly to students.
So add the words or individuals.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I saw in line 5, 6, I also was kind of reading this against the New Hampshire School Boards Association one. There's administrative regulations, and I believe we should probably add administrative regulations and directives. They have that in the New Hampshire School Boards Association, and that, I feel like that opened it to not just regulations.
Is there a reason why our policy doesn't have, because School Boards Association had adoption and incorporation of the standards of code of conduct for New Hampshire educators? I'm guessing ours didn't because we haven't reviewed it since that went into place.
Right, because this was the School Board Association was revised in July of 2019.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
yeah, ours is older
So-
than that.
So I would want to add that,
Right.
Okay.
the
Where would you
adoption
like
and,
In the policy.
So, look, thank you, Michelle. It's going to be that kind of night, isn't it?
Yes.
Good, I'm
Yes.
feeling that way too.
Yep.
So add section B from the School Boards Association.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see.
I had one more minor change and then one more and another question as well. So on line 10, I think rather than oversee, it should be oversight of students. And then my question would be, should we add a section on failure to abide?
I must have that somewhere else.
Well, I didn't see that in the School Board Association because failure would,
Employees are
Abide.
advised that failure to abide by this and other school board policies
Oh, yeah,
can
right
lead to disciplinary action up to and including dismissal and can result in non-renewal. Any action taken regarding an employee's employment with the district will be consistent with all the rules, laws, and collective bargaining agreements if applicable.
Yeah. You should add it.
Sorry, I have one more question. And then my last question is a copy of this policy provided in the handbooks that go out every year?
it's part of our staff handbook.
I think that was all I had for that one.
Anybody else? No, you covered it.
Sorry.
No, I
All right, then we can move on to GBEBA, which is the employee dress code. Has this ever been an issue?
Not really,
Okay.
not since I've been here. I don't know if there's ever-
Okay. Then I think the only thing that I really had to add to this one was I did like the New Hampshire School Boards Association has verbiage in here. The board expects all staff members to be neatly groomed and dressed in clothing suitable for the subject of instruction, the work being performed, or the occasion. So I like that because I know, and I feel like all of the schools do something of the sort, but I'm very familiar with the Canterbury one. They do like a community service day, and I feel like you shouldn't have to wear like, you know, the clothes that you would teach if you're going to go paint a fence. That feels like.
Right, and you know, so professional manner, when you look at, say, a teacher that's teaching physical education, you know,
Right.
what-
If you showed up in a suit, I might have questions.
Correct. So you want to add that one sentence?
Yep,
School
I
Board
do.
Association?
I do like that that sentence. I think the rest of it is pretty good, but.
Seems way too specific. The School Boards Association.
All right.
Anybody else have anything else?
No.
The next one is GBEBC, which is employee gifts and solicitations. I did not have any notes on this one.
The only thing I would say, and I didn't really either, was that if we do business with individuals, does that have to be in there too? So lines 3 and 4.
3 and 4, add individuals.
I didn't pick that up until you asked the question
Right.
on the first one,
Yeah, that's a good
which
point.
then,
Companies, organizations, or individuals, maybe?
Yeah.
doing business with. No.
We move on to GBEBD, which is the employee use of social networking websites and the internet. This is just a stylistic thing because, again, I can't change who I am.
We're not asking you to.
Nothing in this policy prohibits. I feel like it should just say this policy does not prohibit.
Okay.
Sorry. And then the other, I did have a question though. So for the first sentence of the New Hampshire School Boards Association policy, it talks about the strongly discouraging school district staff from socializing with students outside of school and social networking websites. How do we deal with that?
How do we deal with it in the sense if it's
I mean,
inappropriate? We go through proper channels of investigating and so forth. If
But
brought
it's-
to our attention.
but it's not put on our policy anywhere.
We could throw it on there if you like.
I mean,
Yes, I think the harder part is, oh no, at a school yeah, no, that's fine. On social networking websites. Yeah, that's
So got it.
I think I would.
Yeah.
We probably
Could update it.
we could update it a little because I don't know that MySpace really applies anymore.
I don't know if we need to put in there
Anything.
including but
Changing.
not limited to, like, I don't think we need that
No.
section of
I
it.
think we would
You
strike
just put a
that.
period after social networking websites,
Yeah.
because they're ever changing.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions they wanted to?
Oh,
I just wrote, there's also nothing in here for failure to abide by this as well. Should we add something about that?
Use the same wording from the other policy.
I think that applies.
Well, it is here. It's on 7 and 8.
Oh, did I miss it? Employees who violate this
Yeah.
policy may face, okay. I just missed it then.
That's all right.
All right. Well then, GBEE is the conflicts of interest. I would be really interested to understand the history behind this policy.
It's one of those recommended policies that was put into play in the year 2000.
Because it doesn't look like the New Hampshire School Boards
Right.
Association has any policy on
There
this.
is not.
So I'm just, I feel like if there was like some history for it being implemented or something like that, then I could better understand like the reason for its adoption, and I could better maybe evaluate what I wanted, like what direction I think we should go with it. I feel like it's weirdly specific almost. So I think I thought there was like a little bit of a story there.
Any history that you know of, Debbie, behind this?
So the only history that I'm aware of was in some of the districts that were under the umbrella of SAU 46, there were board members who owned businesses that would get awarded certain contracts.
Okay.
And the auditors had recommended that we have a policy for the conflict of interest. So if it went through the normal bid process, that would be fine, but they had to disclose it
Okay.
during the audit process.
I was also, I went and I read through Thompson versus the State Board of Parole. I don't know why that one's cited.
I don't know that.
Okay, because I was very, very confused by this policy all around.
And we have had employees who have other family members, and that's why we added that they shall not supervise, family member, because that was also an issue for a while.
So it sounds like there were some things that came up in the past, because if you look at the amendments, it was amended in 01, 04, 13.
Well, I'm also reading this first paragraph here, and are we in violation of that as board members? Like,
What do you mean?
employees shall not engage in or have a financial interest in any activity that raises a reasonable question of conflict of interest with their duties and responsibilities as employees, as an employee. That's so, we're technically employees and we approve budgets, and I mean, it's a very, very broad, overarching.
But, so from a board perspective, yeah, if you are employees, this would apply to any board member. This could be a board member sitting around the table that would approve, let's say, a bid from their own company.
Yeah.
So
They have to
it would be
disclose
applicable.
and recuse.
Okay. I kind of want to table this one because I want to sit with this a little bit more. Okay.
That's fine.
Let's do it.
Thank you. Sorry.
I wonder, I didn't have time to do this, but I wonder what other school districts have. Because we have, as a nonprofit, we have conflicts of interest policies that are required for all nonprofits. So I'm curious what other districts have and what their language is and why the School Boards Association doesn't have it as a recommended policy anymore.
So, yeah, I think I'd like that information too on why this is no longer recommended by the New Hampshire School Boards Association.
And some of these things in here are not financial conflicts of interest.
Right.
So that's the other reason.
Right. So this one is very confusing to me.
Okay, let's look into it a little bit more.
All right.
Table for the next meeting.
Okay. All right, so then GBG, it looks like protection of staff. To me, this looked like it was saying the same thing as the New Hampshire School Boards Association policy, but I think the New Hampshire School Boards Association said it better.
Because,
Well, they're calling out all of the workers' compensation, unemployment compensation. They go into the actual RSA. They talk about the statutory immunities and things like that. It's just, ours feels very, very broad, and this is a little bit more focused on the actual protection of the staff.
So we don't carry unemployment compensation.
Okay.
We're a direct reimburse.
Okay. Well, then
So
we wouldn't be able to put
put
that in.
Correct.
But the workers' compensation would
Well,
apply, correct, Debbie?
We do have workers' compensation, but I don't understand how that applies to this, where the board's going to indemnify and hold harmless district employees against claims that may be entered against them as a result. I mean, workers' compensation isn't, if they get injured on the job, that's not holding them harmless. It's not our decision to make. If workers' compensation determines that it's not a work-related injury, we're not holding them harmless.
I mean, we provide professional liability insurance.
Correct.
Let's see. So we could take that.
Workers' compensation is a benefit that's outlined in the employee handbook.
Right. Okay. Would you just like having the RSAs as a part of it?
Yeah, we don't even we call out 31105, but the 31106 appears to apply as well, and 31107.
could add those as a footnote.
Okay. All right, I think I feel better about that.
So,
What are the statutory immunities as provided in 31107, do you know?
You can look it up. A political entity permitted or required to indemnify its officers and employees under RSA 31105 and 106 may purchase comprehensive general liability insurance policy necessary to protect itself and its officers and employees against such liability. The insurance policy may be issued by any insurance company organized or authorized to do business in this state. Do you have thoughts, Debbie?
Only as far as that doesn't address anything as far as their own negligence. We wouldn't protect them in that instance. We do have that on line 7, by reason of negligence for other act. I just don't know if 31107, how that pertains to that, because it doesn't talk about it.
Before we provide liability coverage for all personnel for policies structured to maintain their statutory immunities.
May purchase a comprehensive general liability insurance policy.
Which we have.
purchase of insurance.
So it's basically just stating something
It's
that we already
stating
have.
we're gonna
Right,
purchase insurance.
Yeah. So there's really no harm in adding it to it.
right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the School Boards Association doesn't have any reference to exclusion of negligence, which is in our policy.
Well, my guess is because your liability coverage references negligence. I mean, I happen to agree. I think it should be in it's in ours. I'm
Yeah.
just saying anything with liability coverage, it's gonna, if they're negligent, it's null and void.
So we'll add a footnote number 1. The 2 other are saved.
Yes.
Do you feel that we need to bring that to the full board since there's not a change in wording? Just adding,
Statutory citations.
Yeah.
Not for statutory citation.
We're not changing anything.
We're just calling out
Yeah.
other.
I agree.
Anybody else have anything else in that one?
Mm-mm.
All right, so the last one we have is GBGA, which is the physical exam / staff health.
And we're suggesting that we add that on line 5, the bold italicized wording for authorized healthcare provider.
Okay.
It was in the School Board Association, but it's not always a licensed physician that provides the
Yep.
exams.
Last year we do the bus drivers, or was that earlier this year? Remember, see how it referenced School Boards Association does the school bus operators? We had a pretty lively discussion about that.
Yeah.
Remember?
We did.
Mm-hmm.
That was background checks.
Yeah, but it was medical too.
Medical was part of that.
I did not have any other notes on this one.
I didn't either.
So there was great.
Anybody else? Anything? All right. Cool.
Yeah, that was cool.